Alexander, the sex scenes make headlines because people aren't used to seeing BDSM relationships depicted often. But what really stood out to me during them was how character focused they are. We get so much character moments out of these scenes. How important was it that these scenes weren't just provocative, but they also inform who Ray and Colin are?
I think that's a great point. That excited me about the story and about those scenes. The fact that they're explicit, but they also propel the story forward. You learn a lot about Ray and even more about Colin in those scenes, and they're again pivotal moments in Colin's development. Um, so that's why I was genuinely excited about shooting them. They didn't feel that it didn't feel like Harry put them in the movie to just like get attention or to kind of shock or be provocative. And I think also in terms of the amount of nudity, how graphic they are, I think it was. I think Harry really calibrated in a terrific way where it's you don't shy away from it. It's there. It's in your face, but it's also not there to just again to shock. But it propels the story forward, and um, so they served a purpose. And you kind of always want, whether it's a sex scene or not, you want to know why the scene is in the movie. You want to know like what purpose it serves, why it is there, and there was no lack of that in any of them.
Yeah, that's wonderfully put. And Harry Lighton, what surprised me about the movie was just how funny it was. There's a great sense of humor to Pillion. How was it finding the line of humor, finding humor in these situations, but not just making kink the joke? Because I thought you did a really good job of finding that right line.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that was definitely kind of my preoccupation with the like comedy tone in it was that we wouldn't be just kind of taking the piss out of the subculture or the kinksters therein. But I think that like what comedy can do really well is invite people into like a character's life, particularly one which they're not familiar with. So it was a way, in my mind, of kind of being generous to an audience and trying to give them something which would make the unfamiliar a bit more familiar.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job with that. And Harry Melling, this is based on the novel Box Hill. There's a lot of differences, and I feel like Colin gets a more optimistic ending here. But that book is written in the first person and gives such a great guide to what Colin is feeling throughout. Were you able to use the novel as a tool to inform your performance?
Yeah, I was. I read it quite early on in the process of sort of trying to work out who Colin was. And you're right, it's written in the first person, which is obviously very useful for the person playing Colin. So it was really, yeah, it was a really interesting sort of initial access point for the story and who Colin was. Having said that, I do think that the script actually is there's differences from the original source material, Box Hill, and what Harry wrote. And those differences were also very intriguing in terms of certainly the tone of it, trying to, like we spoke about, trying to find humour alongside the more sort of shocking elements of the story, and it both, like Harry said, feeling familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. So yeah, it was a wonderful starting point, but I didn't hold on to it too tightly through the making of it. I sort of used it as a springboard into making into creating my Colin.
That makes total sense. And Harry, like my last question, you previously mentioned that this is pretty much the family-friendly version of the film. Is it possible for any other cuts to be released down the line, or do you think that showing restraint has really improved the film?
I take massive issue with the family friendly. Being told this is family friendly. I think that's actually a kind of a bit of a misconception. There isn't actually. This is the kind of the raciest version I wanted to put out there. I think we cut out one shot, which was like a close up of the end of Ray's penis, and I just cut that out because it made the audience laugh at a moment where I wanted them to kind of take the moment seriously. But you know, maybe I can.
And I can
why
people laughing at my penis.
yeah.